here's a good take about you.
Here, I'm sitting. My dog is resting behind me. She's having a rest behind me. She's enjoying, and I'm.
Bro, why did you send this to me? What is this?
I'm sitting as well. And I'm thinking tonight about discourse concerning rich socialists. Like, whenever some big leftist, usually Hasan, buys something extravagant or whatever, shows off that he has money in any way, there's a conversation often had by conservatives, but also by good faith leftists, talking about how he's not an authentic socialist, about how it's, you know, it's hypocrisy or whatever. And I obviously this is a very dated discourse and a very old conversation to be having, but it's just striking me tonight just how corrosive this entire conversation is to any kind of real political thought. And let me try to explain what I mean. So my main problem with this argument about rich leftists not being real leftists is that charity as a concept is a virtue. It's a virtuous thing to do for everybody. Everybody almost agrees that giving of yourself, sacrificing for other people, giving people what they need is a good thing to do. It's not leftist to give people things that they need. It's simply kind. And the problem I have is that what we're really doing when we call people hypocrites, hypocritical leftists for not being more charitable, is making the argument that to be a leftist means being a good person. And no, it doesn't. It absolutely does not. Being a leftist, believing in socialism, these are completely unrelated. These do.
I'm not gonna lie, I agree with him, even though like the hidden implication here is that like, one, I'm not a charitable person, which is just false, and two, because like he is still subscribing to those memes, even though I do agree with what he's saying. You don't have to be a nice person to be a fucking leftist, okay? As a matter of fact, I could make an argument. I could make the most selfish argument for eradicating the homelessness crisis by offering people homes, okay? The number one most selfish fucking argument you can make for dealing with the homelessness problem and making the state fucking create housing is literally because you don't want to deal with it. Like, it's fucking crazy. The expectation that every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry has to literally become social workers in that very moment as they're like trying to go to their shit ass fucking job is psychotic. Okay? The entire point of a government is that we pay into it so that they deal with it. There's a system in place to deal with it. There are people who are way better at fucking dealing with it than you are. Okay? That is the selfish perspective. That is the selfish way to advocate for such a thing, for abolishing the concept of like housing as an investment vehicle and turning it into shelter is and making people understand that it's supposed to be shelter. It's not supposed to be for fucking making more money. Okay? Regardless, though, you can make like selfish person arguments for socialism.
Do not make you a good person. At all. Like, you can be an absolutely shitty, garbage human being. To be clear, I'm not saying Hasan is. This isn't a call-out video for Hasan. You know, I don't know his finances, I don't know who he is, whatever. But you can be an absolutely shitty, garbage human being and still be a leftist. And any argument to the contrary of that is really saying that leftism is just your little virtuous culture club. I hate that shit. And to be clear,
I agree.
By all means, judge whoever you want to judge. Be mad at whoever you want to be mad at. I have no beef with you for getting snippy online with whoever you think is too rich. That's just good fun. That's just a good thing to do with your time, frankly. I don't know. Being mad at rich people, whatever. Have fun.
I've literally said this exact same thing when people were shitting on me with both Ethan and in general. I'm like, I get it. I get why you're mad at me. Like, I get why you're mad at me. 100%. I get it. Being mad at rich people is literally the most normal thing you can feel, especially if you are not a rich person. Okay? It is a perfectly understandable position to be in. I just still think that you're mad at the wrong person. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about you guys in here. If you're in here, you're not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who are like, fuck you, like on Twitter, you know? What is this? 97% of people are only leftists because they are poor and jealous. Shut up, weeby. Yeah. It's not an issue to be mad at rich people, okay? I don't have an issue with that. I think that's a normal fucking perspective to have. Chat hated you before you were rich as on. I mean, a lot of the people were, yes.
But I would just caution against making it about some deep-seated ideological leftist issue because it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. The best thing about leftism, really, is that it deals with the real world, that it deals with actual material forces. Leftists don't, or at least shouldn't, believe that Hasan should rule the world, that he is exempt from class forces, that we are all autonomous moral agents, and if you just put us in charge, we would be amazing at it and not selfish. That's a horrible belief, and it's not true. We are all, to some extent, selfish. We all act according to our own interests, and it would be better, of course, if we were all more charitable, more giving of ourselves. But the point of leftism very much is not to come out with a new breed of human being, to pretend that we are somehow the elite group of the best people who just do all the best things, and that's our ideology. All it is fart smelling. It's a fart smelling discourse. That's my take. Goodbye.
Anyway.